Greetings, Exxon here, and today I'm going to be going over some of the more general additions within the SPV 3.2 update. Before we continue though, there are two more launcher options that I'd like to go over. First, there's now a checkbox for post-processing. This disables certain processes that can heavily impact computer performance, but are also essential for many of the new visual effects. It allows HDR and player armor ability icons to remain. So essentially, if your computer is struggling to run SPV3, use this option to try and mitigate that. There's also a graphics option called Dynamic Lens Flares, which is essentially SPV3's version of Chapman flares from Reshade. This places small flares on certain objects that emit light. With that out of the way, let's get started. Until now, Sprint was definitely one of SPV3's harder cells. It was clunky looking, hard to control, and very glitchy. But that all changes with 3.2. Sprint has been completely reworked, making it much easier to control. You can actually jump without messing up your sprint cycle. The transition to and from sprint mode is also much better, and every weapon in the game now has a dedicated sprint animation. Now they've also added a sprint bash, which works like Halo 5's Spartan bash by meleeing into an enemy as you sprint towards them. I've noticed it can be a bit finicky as far as landing the melee, but it does a lot of damage and it sends enemies flying. It's worth mentioning that this will alert all nearby enemies if they aren't aware of you already. So if you want to stealth your way through an encounter, don't use this. There's a new mechanic that allows you to revive certain allied NPCs. This is mainly used on story-critical NPCs. That includes Sergeant Johnson, Artos, Usei, Brandon, and Agent Jonas. These characters now have a waypoint placed on them at all times, and if they go down, the waypoint will turn red. Unlike Halo 5, there's no time limit, so don't worry if you can't pick them up right away. On the topic of AI, the Jackals and Marines have now been given the ability to use melee. 3.2 actually changes a number of different level textures. Big thanks to Arcadian Fox, by the way, for hooking me up with a working build of 3.1 that I used to get this comparison footage. The first changes can be seen on the Pillar of Autumn. Most of the computer screens have been changed to newer, higher quality textures. They also changed the font of Cortana's message to the Cryobay team. The last noteworthy change is this billboard at the entrance to the bridge. It has some new Easter eggs for us to enjoy. Next up is the mission Halo. This one has been drastically changed. You'll notice that they've done away with that dark grass texture and replaced it with a lighter, more earthy feeling ground texture. The skybox has also been slightly modified. This one isn't level specific, but Chief's visor has also been changed from the old one. It definitely looks better with more of a reflection to it, and being more vibrant than before. There are probably other texture changes, but in the interest of saving time, I'll be moving on from here. Every Covenant vehicle has gotten a new model, with the exception of the Wraiths. Additionally, the AA Wraith has been reworked a bit. Instead of firing a bunch of fuel rods, it now fires shade cannon rounds and no longer overheats. The new projectiles travel faster than the fuel rods did, so that makes this a more effective anti-air unit. I always felt that the AA Wraith was severely underpowered, so this is a welcome change to me. There's also a new fuel rod shade turret, and a fuel rod shadow which appears in the Lemuria campaign. Each elite rank now has its own armor permutation, with most of them drawing heavy inspiration from both Reach and Halo 4. This helps set the elites apart better, rather than just relying on the color of their armor. Cortana has a completely new model. I think it looks a lot better than the old one. Audio balancing was definitely a big focus of this update. I can't go into a lot of specifics due to the scale of these changes, but a lot of what they changed has to do with making dialogue easier to hear in certain cutscenes. Outside of that, the Particle Carbine and the Piercer both have new firing sounds. The LMG and Jackal Shield both have custom pickup sounds instead of reusing the pickup sound for the plasma pistol. Speaking of the LMG, it has a brand new set of animations. It also has a much slower melee. If you're experiencing a lot of lag or slowdown on SPV3, there may be a solution. Do bear in mind that this may not work for everyone, so your mileage may vary. Also, this only applies to Nvidia users. Sorry AMD fans. The solution here is to enable high GPU performance for SPV3. For whatever reason, a lot of times by default, SPV3 is set to utilize your GPU on a power saving mode. To fix this, right-click anywhere on your desktop and click NVIDIA Control Panel. Navigate to Manage 3D Settings and then click Program Settings. After it loads, click the Add button and locate your haloce.exe file in the root folder of your SPV3 installation. Double-click to open it. Now find a setting called Power Management Mode. Click next to this, and under the drop-down menu, select Prefer Maximum Performance. Click Apply, and then Exit. And that's the fix in a nutshell. I think it actually helped in my case. Again, your mileage may vary, and I don't know if a similar fix could be done for Radeon users. But it's worth a shot. SPV 3.2 is a vast overhaul from 3.1. Between the new post-processing, new missions, and vast amounts of changes and improvements to the overall gameplay, I am thrilled with it all. This is going to conclude my overview series of SPV 3.2. I want to give a special thanks to Masters, Jazz, Yumi, and the rest of the mod team who developed this mod and gave me the privilege of beta testing the 3.2 update. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments section below. Until then, I'll see you guys later.